skill. A professional courtesy. Enemy pass.
Serves them right.
Hello friends, this is Splish and I hope you enjoyed those intro clips. It's gonna be a lot of that in this video. I've gotten a lot of clips when it comes to sniping in XDefiant, the closed beta, and that's what we're gonna talk about. And also the fact that I believe that this game is partly overhyped, and there's a reason for that. It's a psychology behind it that is kind of interesting, and it has to do with the state of mind when it comes to FPS gaming overall at the moment. Because partly what we're seeing on the internet is a lot of people coming from the Call of Duty community and talking about XDefiant as a Call of Duty killer game, which I don't think it will be. But they put their hope into this new upcoming shooter by Ubisoft.
What?
Yeah, you heard me right, it's Ubisoft, but hopefully that's gonna be fine, we'll see. So what about all this fuss around XDefiant as a game right now when it comes to the closed beta and the expectations and everything? Yeah, you might have heard of people talking about this game, especially if they are content creators making Call of Duty videos. And therefore I want to say this, let's face it, if Modern Warfare 2 would have been a much better game, and maybe also the games before that, I don't think that XDefiant would have gotten that kind of attention that it has right now. I think that is a kind of a true and honest thing to say. Does it mean that XDefiant doesn't deserve this hype or an attention? No, that's not the case. But I have to be honest and say I have played games that are in betas or early access for that sake, closed betas also, that has been performing and been played much better than this game. I'm thinking about my impressions also when I started to play Shadowline the first time, games such as Splitgate, if you have played that or know what it is. That's just to mention some, because the big problem right now, and I know that the developers are well aware of it because it went a bit wrong when it comes to the server settings. So the netcode, the performance overall has been very bad from time to time. I could make a video, I guess, just showing hit markers that I've gotten, and there's been some weird shit with the movement and stuff like that. I think you know, especially if you have played. And of course, as always, leave a comment and if you want to share your experiences and thoughts about it. But again, the developers are aware of it, and hopefully later on it might even be another beta. I'm not sure how they think right now, if they're just gonna continue to develop it like quietly before they actually release the game, or if they feel that they need more feedback again from the community when it comes to playing XDefiant. That's gonna be interesting to see before launch. One thing that has been pointed out, and is of course also a reason why people are talking like warm-hearted about this game, is the fact that it doesn't have any skill-based matchmaking, which might be a huge thing for a lot of people right now. I can't even believe that we're talking about playing a game or not when it comes to skill-based matchmaking, but it is a thing definitely, and it has been for quite some time, especially also in Call of Duty games. And XDefiant has stated that they will not have skill-based matchmaking, and for the most, I think that's a good thing, because I, as well as many other players, are really tired of how it looks nowadays in lobbies if you're playing Modern Warfare 2, for example. When it comes to the movement, it's definitely as it is right now when it comes to modern shooters. You have the sliding, the slide canceling, the almost bunny hopping or jumping around corners shooting. I'm not a huge fan of that. I am glad though that there's still games where you actually play a bit more old school, not having that kind of play style, but it is what it is, and that is also in XDefiant. When it comes to the gunplay, well, as mentioned, it's really hard to tell right now. I think overall it seems to be pretty well balanced, at least from my experience right now. As you see, I mainly play as a sniper, that's what I do. And it was a few moments where the gun didn't shoot at all for some reason. I think some of you guys might have experienced that as well. There are abilities in this game, and I hope for the future also that the developers will look into this, because I think it's a bit unbalanced as it is right now. Using healing, it can become very, very powerful, and especially if you're a good player, you can hold down an area almost by yourself, putting down heal and just get the headshots popping, you know. So that has to be looked into, and I also hope that they consider to have maybe a game mode, at least, since this will most likely stay in the game, this kind of specialist kind of features and abilities, it will stay, and therefore I hope they consider to make a game mode at least where you're able to play without these abilities. I think that would be really, really nice. At least I would like to see that. Another thing I would like them to consider when it comes to the game modes is to have maybe 8v8 or 10v10, because some of the maps are quite big, especially depending on the game mode, of course, and I do think that some of them would be even more fun to play with more players. Right now it's 6v6 and it's okay, but again, as mentioned, it would definitely pump up the volume even more when it comes to the gameplay and everything if they had game modes with more players. If you're looking for a game that is unique or has something really, really new coming up, then you are looking in the wrong place. That is not XDefiant. It brings back things that we have experienced before in other games, and especially, as mentioned quite a few times in this video, Call of Duty games. I'm thinking about domination, escort, something like hardpoint, even though it's not called hardpoint. So I think you get the kind of gist of it. And that's what it is. It's rinse and repeat in a way. It doesn't have to be a bad thing though, because again, a lot of people want this. They want to have the old feel back of a fast-paced arena shooter that has these kind of influences from older Call of Duty games, even though it's modern, as mentioned, when it comes to movement and all that. Will I play this game at launch? I don't know. It really depends on mainly how the game is performing, because as said, it was quite frustrating from time to time and in many matches when it comes to the performance in the game. And as mentioned before also, I'm repeating myself, I know, but the devs will of course do what they can to improve this, and I'm sure they will. Because I'm quite simple. I like to snipe in these kind of shooters. So if the game starts to play really well, I will play it as well. One thing that is also on the positive side of things is to see that there has been some good communication between players, the upcoming community, you might say, of this game, and the developers. They've tried to listen into what people has to say and the feedback they have been given. And that's a good thing. Also, I think there was about 14 maps here in the closed beta, and they've said that there's going to be like 24 maps, I believe, when the game will be launched, and that's a lot. And it sends out a positive signal, I believe, to players that might find out about XDefiant. So keep your eyes open. I definitely will. I will talk more about this game later on. But for now, I hope you enjoyed this video. And as always, as I said earlier also, please share your thoughts about this upcoming shooter by Ubisoft. And have a beautiful day. Game on, and I'll talk to you soon again. Later.
Revenge kill. A professional courtesy.